Hey guys, welcome back. This weekend it is the second Bledisloe Cup game between the All Blacks and the Wallabies. It's always a massive one. Last week I think it lived up to the hype a little bit, not completely. If you want to see more videos for the Rugby Championship coming up, hit the subscribe button. Let's get into this game. So the All Blacks, they make one change to their starting team. The other ones are positional switches. The Wallabies, they bring in a couple of changes, probably a couple of changes we expected after last week. If we do go to the front row, though, no changes there. Both teams' front rows, I thought, did pretty well. But if I have to make one comment from last week's game where the All Blacks won 33-25, it started out very scrappy. In the start, I thought there was a lot of knock-ons, a lot of mistakes as well. It did go a little bit exciting more towards the end of the first half, and the second half was very exciting for the All Blacks. In the Wallabies, they had a late fight back, but just not enough at the end. So 25-33 loss for the Wallabies was probably a little bit flattering, but it did show that they do have the skills there. So James Slipper, Paenga Mosa, and Alan Alatoa, they are the front row for the Wallabies. No problem there. That's a strong front row. Bauer, he continues at number 1. Laulala at number 3. So Cody Taylor versus Paenga Mosa, always big. Those two guys are always the guys that are trying to score tries from mauls for their respective teams. Then we get to the second row. The second row is strengthened for the Wallabies. They struggled a little bit there last week with their line-out throwing as well. So Matt Phillip coming in is more of a veteran coming in for the side, more of an experienced head there, along with Darcy Swain. I haven't seen them playing along too much yet, but it has to be a good combination if it is selected for this one. It has to be good because they are playing against Retallick and Whitelock, who I said last week, they're still building on their partnership again that's been standing for so many years. It has been reignited now again. Whitelock, he's the captain for this All Black team this week around. In the loose forwards, there's one change for the Wallabies. They bring in Lucky Swinton. You'll remember him, his debut. He played against the All Blacks. The Wallabies actually won, but he missed a large chunk of that game because of a red card. He is one of those big men that you kind of fear on the park. He does play on the edge of the disciplinary line. Sometimes he goes over it as well, but he is a very hard bloke as well, and he is always in that little scuffles. He's up against Akira Ioane and Papali'i at number 7. I have to say they were a little bit quiet last week, in my opinion, when you compare them to like a Michael Hooper, who's always busy, the captain for the Wallabies. He's just all around the park. Rob Valentini, he moves back to his preferred position from 6 to number 8. Today he is more busy as well. He likes picking up the ball at the back of the scrum and running with it. This is where he is going to be a little bit better as well. This is where he's going to shine as well. Up against Ardie Savea, who probably can still improve his game from last week as well. He's also a guy that loves picking it up and running his own game as well, more like a centre on the park for the All Blacks. Then we get to number 9 with Aaron Smith. Last week he played his 100th cap. So this week there's not that pressure on him because that first half for him was probably not the best half of rugby he's ever played. He's up against Tate McDermott, who also last week played very exciting rugby for the Wallabies there at the end of the game, but not the whole game through. Noah Lolosio, the youngster for the Wallabies, he had a game to forget with the boot. Even though he plays so well on the park last week, he didn't kick well, but he is usually a guy that is on song with his kicks, so he probably corrected that by this week. Richard Mahunga, another game that he played so well. You just wonder, when is this guy's form gonna drop, because it just looks like he's gonna go up and up for the rest of the season. Last week he had that intercept try that proved crucial at the end of the game, and he had probably one of the best no tries disallowed in the world, because that try that he launched from his own 22 was such a brilliant one. I can't remember who ended up scoring it, but he was involved in that, quite a fair share of it. Matt Tamua at number 12, that is probably what the Wallabies need in their back line along with Kurabeti. But Matt Tamua being a very experienced guy in the back line, that is something they lacked last week, with Tom Banks last week being the most experienced guy in their back line with only 15 caps. So Matt Tamua, that he does bring a little bit more of a calmness to the game as well. He's also another kicking option if they do need him. He's up against David Havili, who we know in what good form he has been outside of Mawunga all season for the Crusaders and now the All Blacks as well. Then at number 13, Rika Ioane, he moves back to number 13 where he prefers to play these days. He moves from the wing to number 13. I have to say I prefer him on the wing. He's so dangerous on the wing, but number 13 is where he wants to play. Hopefully, for the All Blacks' sake, he does pass the ball out to that very dangerous wingers on his outside, because that is something he has a knack of doing, of trying to run it on his own. He's up against Hunter Paisami, who shifts from 12 to 13. So that 13 battle is a big one. I can't wait to see it. It's two guys that are pretty quick and can have some big clashes in this one. Then out wide, like I said, Kuriabeti, he's back. Last week he missed because of that little bit of a drinking ban or whatever they called it for the Wallabies there. He's up against Will Jordan in number 14, who also comes in for the All Blacks. A very exciting kid. If he is on the park, he usually scores like a hat trick for the team. So such a dangerous guy to have. Probably prefer him at number 15, but you wouldn't shift Damon McKenzie at the moment, who's just brilliant as the second playmaker for the team. Sevu Reece, he moves again from 14 to 11. He's been shifting around those two positions. Callaway, he's also from 11 to number 14 this week. Last week, I thought he had a good game for a guy that hasn't played too many games for the Wallabies. Then we get to the two benches. Ulisi up against Takiao. I love Takiao. He's a very good hooker. He's a very strong runner as well. He's perfectly sums up that raging bull type of hooker when he does get the ball going. He is together with Tuna Kwafe and Ta'avao, so that is a triple T combination when those three guys come on for the front row. Ulisi, last week I said he's probably not in the best form out of the hookers in Australia, but he is joined by Sio and Tupou, both of whom are in good form. Ulisi, last week he scored a brilliant try off of the back of them all, just reading the perfect time to just release that ball and go for it himself to score the try, and that went really well for him. Lukan Salakai Lotto, he's at number 19 up against Scott Barrett, who's on the bench again. There's again three Barrett brothers on the bench for the All Blacks. Luke Jacobson covering the whole back three for the All Blacks. Harry Wilson at number 20. TJ Paranara, he comes back for the All Blacks in the place of Brad Weber. Paranara, I probably do prefer him at the moment over Weber as well. Nick White at number 21. They missed him last week. He can close out the game so well for the Wallabies. They did miss him as well. Ikatau at number 22. Bowden Barrett at number 22 for the All Blacks. That's a lot of strength for them to have there, along with a guy like Geordie Barrett with his massive boot. Reece Hodge, talk about a massive boot. He's number 23 for the Wallabies. Guys, getting into prediction time here. They're playing at Eden Park again this week around. I do not think the Wallabies are going to pull it through. I think it's going to be closer this time around. I think the All Blacks to win this one by, let's say, 5 points. Let me know your prediction down in the comments below. Also, check out these videos next to me. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more Rugby Championship videos. And then I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.